Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be solving max consecutive ones problem from LeetCode, and this video is going to be an addition to our competitive programming playlist. So here in the problem description it is given a binary array nums, return the maximum number of consecutive ones in the array. So let's try to understand with the example. So here we have this input array 1 1 0 1 1 1. So here in this input array the first two digits and the last three digits are consecutive ones, and the maximum number of consecutive ones is 3. So the output is 3. Similarly, in this given array, we have multiple ones in this array, but the maximum number of consecutive one is 2. So the output here is 2. So let's see how we can solve this. But before that, let me tell you that this is an easy problem. Don't expect this as a final question in your interview. This question can be your warm-up question or maybe something as a follow-up question. So let's see how we can solve this. For that, I'll go to my Scratch file. So here the problem statement is we need to find the maximum number of consecutive ones. So for this input array, as we can clearly see that 3 is the maximum number of consecutive ones, right? So the output would be 3. So to solve this, what we can do initially is we can initially take two variables, count and max count, and we will assign this variable with 0. Now we will start iterating over this array. So we will start with the first element. The first element is 0. For 0, we will not do anything. We will simply move to the next element. The next element is 1. As soon as we see 1, what we will do, we will simply increment the count to the next value, that is 1. And then we will also compare. If the max count is lesser than the count, then we will update the max count also. So this will become 1. Then again, the next element is 1. So here we will increment the count to 2. And then we will also update the max count as 1 is lesser than 2. So it will become 2. Now the next element is 0. That means our sequence of consecutive ones has broken here, right? That means we need to update this count to 0. That means now the current sequence is of length 0 because there is no consecutive ones here. Now we will move to the next element. We see that the next element is also 0. Again, we will not do anything. We will simply go to the next element. Now this is 1. For 1, we simply increment the count with 1, and then we check if we need to update the max count. If it is lesser than the count, then we will update. But in this case, 2 is greater than 1, so we will leave as is. Now we will move to the next element. It is 0. Now again for 0, as it is indicating that the sequence of consecutive ones has broken, we will need to update the count to 0 again. And then we will check if it is greater than max count, we will update, otherwise we will leave it as is. Okay. Now we will move to the next element. Now the next element is 1. For 1, we always increment count and we check if we need to update the max count. For this case, the max count will remain as 2. Now we will move to the next element. Next element is 1. We simply need to increment the count to 2, and then we simply need to check if max count is lesser than count. For this case, no. So we will keep max count as is. Now we will move to the next element, which is 1. For this, we need to increment the count to 3. Now when we compare max count and count, count is greater than max count, so we need to update the max count with count value, which is 3. Now our max count value is 3. Now from here, if you see, we reach the end of the array. That means after iterating over the input array, we got our max count as 3. And from here we can simply say that the maximum number of consecutive ones in this given input is 3, and we can simply return this. So let's analyze the time complexity for this approach. The time complexity for this approach would be order of n, because we are iterating over this array only once. So we can say the time complexity is order of n. And for space complexity, as we haven't used any extra space, we can say the space complexity is order of 1. So I hope the solution is clear to you. Now next we will see the code solution in Java and Kotlin programming language. So let's first check out the Java code. So here if you see, I have written this class where I have this input array, and then we have this method which takes the input array nums, and here the first thing we did was we initialize the count and max count with 0, and then we simply iterate over this array, and then we check if the current number is 1, then we simply increment the count, otherwise we simply set the count to 0, and then we simply update the max count depending upon which one is greater. Okay, and then finally we return max count, which basically tells you the number of consecutive ones in your given input array. I hope the solution is clear to you. Now we will see the Kotlin code. So here is the Kotlin solution. So here I have written a main function where I have taken an input array of integer type. Okay, and then we have this method where we are taking nums int array as a parameter, and then the first thing we did is we initialize count and max count, and then we iterate over this array and we check if the number is 1, then we simply increment the count, or else we set the count to 0. And then we finally update the max count depending on the value of count and max count. And finally, once the iteration is over, we simply return the max count, which tells the maximum consecutive numbers in the given array. So I hope the solution is clear to you. It is quite simple. The only thing you have to keep in mind when you receive this kind of problem in your interviews is that don't overthink if you are given an easy problem. It happens that you sometimes receive an easy problem at the starting of the interview or at the end of the interview. So be prepared for it. So yeah, that's about this video. I would suggest you to try alternate solution for this problem. One hint would be that you can solve this similar problem with the 2 pointers concept. So give it a try and let me know in the comment section if you are able to do it. The last thing is that if you are new to this channel, do check out the competitive programming playlist on my YouTube channel. I have added more than 15 videos from LeetCode. It will definitely help you to prepare for any type of coding interview. So yeah, do check out. That's all about this video. If you learned something from this video, please hit the like button. And if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press that bell icon so that you get notified for our upcoming new videos. Thank you for watching.